What's up, guys, and welcome back to Styles Make Fights. I'm here at the Ryan the Lion LaFlair's house. Welterweight legendary Ryan LaFlair, and he's the co-host today. I am obviously your host, the Menace.
This is RJ, and that's Riley too, but Dennis is very rude. So.
We're gonna talk some fights, guys. UFC 202 is approaching. Neil Magny versus Lorenz Larkin, the Fight Pass headliner. Who you got, Rye Dog?
I like the fight. It's my weight class. They're guys that are potential opponents for myself. I think it's a tough fight. I like Larkin in the matchup, though. I think he's durable. I think he's proven his worth and his keep. And I think that he's going to break down Magny with low kicks and stuff a lot of his takedowns and go from there.
I'm going to agree with Ryan. I've got Larkins. I think he's just a stronger athlete, you know? I think Neil is, I mean, he's tough. Don't get me wrong. Neil's a tough guy. You know what I mean? He can take a lot of damage and stuff like that. But I'm going to go with Larkins. I think he's more explosive, more powerful, you know?
I think, yeah, like Dennis said, I think that Magny is like a gatekeeper, and I'm not taking any credit away from him. I think he's very tough. I think he's, you know, I think he excels in some places and has weaknesses other places, but I don't think any middle-of-the-road fighter is beating him. I think if you want to get to that top-notch fighters, you got to get past Magny. I think this would be a good test for the both guys. See who goes to that top 10, top 5 status.
For sure. Moving forward, the Fox Sports 1 headliner. We've got Mizugaki versus Garbrandt. I've got Cody.
Yeah, Cody's. I think he could actually be a champ. I think he's the real deal. I've been watching him since his first fight in the UFC, and I think he's extremely exciting to watch. His striking is on another level, and I don't think people understand his range and how good his striking really is. And I think that it's a good test for him. Mizugaki's, you know, a good grappler, good, I guess, ground fighter, but Garbrandt is the man.
So yeah, I'm gonna stay with No Love. I love No Love. I like watching his style.
Yeah,
he's super fast.
Yeah.
He's handsome. He brings swag to the octagon. You know. So yeah, I mean, if it goes to the ground, anything could happen. But I'm going with No Love. I think it's gonna be hard to bring him to the ground because he's got good wrestling.
Yeah. I think Cody was a state champion, and in wrestling, and I don't even think he. I'm not really 100% sure about his background, but I think that he was
from Ohio.
Yeah, he was a Ohio state champion. I think in like 11th grade. I don't even think he wrestled his senior year, from what I remember.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's just an athletic kid.
Yeah. Moving forward to the main card, Tim Means versus Sean Strickland. These are two other guys that are in your weight class,
right? They're right there with Mag. In my opinion, they're right there with Magny and Larkin, and you know, I think that the winner of this fight and the winner of the other fight could, you know, maybe fight each other.
Yeah,
or the losers fight. I think these guys are really tough. These guys don't get as much credit as they deserve. Tim Means, I've been watching. We've had a couple of mutual opponents, and Strickland, I'm not that familiar with, but I know that I know of them, and I know that they're both like really tough dudes. I think, you know, this fight will definitely take one of the two into the top 15, 100%.
Strickland only has one loss, whereas Means has lost 7 times.
Yes, but I mean, you know, who has Strickland fought and lost to? You got to look at who these guys are fighting. I know that Tim Means has been in the UFC for a pretty long time. I think he lost to Magny.
Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Means. I just know him a little better. I've been watching his career a little more. I think he's a tough dude, and I think I'm gonna go with Means. I'm
gonna go with Tim Means as well. I've watched him fight before. I like his fight name, the Dirty Bird.
I didn't even know he had a fight name.
He's the Dirty Bird versus Tarzan.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about either one of those fight names.
Yeah.
But,
so I'm going to go Tim, the Dirty Bird Means. Next, we've got Rick Story versus Donald Cerrone. Another welterweight.
They're going crazy.
Have you noticed that the UFC kind of puts together, when they put together fight cards, it's kind of like they've got a theme. Yeah. Like when I fought on my card, it was mostly 145.
Yeah, the main event is a 170-pound bout, yeah. And I mean, they're not really a 170-pound bout, but you know, it is what it is.
So Rick Story 19-8 versus Donald Cerrone 30-7.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. I think that stylistically, it's a tough fight. I mean, everyone wants to say, yeah, Cerrone, but I think that Rick Story brings a lot to the table that Cerrone.
Rick Story, the horror.
Yeah, the horror.
Is ranked 10th.
Yeah.
Whereas Donald Cerrone is now ranked number 14th.
Yeah, but I don't think that's irrelevant. I don't think that those.
Think that's star power?
Yeah, well, I think the bigger name is Cerrone, but he doesn't have that many fights at 170,
right.
So they're not giving him enough credit. Cerrone is a very, very, very tough fighter. I think he's a very good striker, very good submission artist. He brings a lot to the table. But Story's in your face. Could easily, could take the damage and bring more damage too. I think it's a bad matchup for Cerrone, but that being said, I can't go against the Cowboy. I think the Cowboy's going to take it.
I got the Cowboy winning as well. I think the only way Story wins is via KO in the first round. That's the only way I see it.
I was actually thinking the opposite. I was thinking that
Story would grind him out.
I was thinking that Story would overwhelm Cerrone in the first round, and then Cerrone would find his range and maybe start.
Yeah, I see Donald Cerrone keeping the range and winning. The
first round, Rick Story is very aggressive, in your face. Hard punches. I just think that Cerrone has a history of starting late. I think if Story doesn't finish him in the first round, I think Cerrone, finds his range, finds his rhythm, and starts picking him apart.
All right, so we both got Donald Cerrone, but in different ways.
Right. Well, I know what I'm talking about.
All right, moving on to the next fight. We've got fellow teammate of Ryan LaFleur from the Black Zillions, Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Glover Teixeira.
Yeah, it's a great fight. Very, very, very good fight. I'm surprised.
Have they fought prior?
But I'm surprised this is the first time they're fighting. They're both two really, really hot guys. I gotta go with Rumble. How do you go against Rumble, man? I
would say Rumble is one of the scariest guys in the octagon.
I think he is the scariest man in the octagon. I think Rumble, not that he beats him easily, but I think he beats him pretty bad.
I tell you what. I don't think it's going to decisions. One of those gentlemen is falling.
Yeah, I think Anthony Johnson's striking. I'm obviously it's not underrated, but I think that his technique is underrated. I think that people don't understand how technical he is. I think people just see that he's knocking people out. He's got heavy hands and heavy feet and heavy legs.
Well, there's a reason.
I think he's extremely explosive. That too, but I think that under Henry Hooft, who kind of just keeps it as simple as possible with his striking. Helps Anthony see these openings and see how why it looks so easy.
Right, I agree.
And people don't understand that, and they make it seem like, oh, why is this guy ducking? He's like, yeah, because Anthony made him duck. He threw something else out there to make him go that way, and then he knocked him out with the head kick. Anthony Johnson, I think he's always gonna be my pick, no matter what.
Yeah, I got Rumble as well. I think both guys probably have about equal endurance. I think Anthony Johnson is probably stronger, faster, and I think he's more technical.
Yeah, I think the jiu-jitsu era, Teixeira is obviously a black belt, and wrestling, I think they equal each other out. And MMA experience is pretty equal, even though Teixeira is, has probably more well-rounded on all three aspects, but either way, I still got Rumble. My first time, well, not my first time, one of my first times going down training in South Florida, before they even had a gym, they were just kind of renting space in another gym. Anthony just went up to 185 pounds. So he was 170. His fight before that was like a 170-pound fight. So I'm like, I think I just got signed with Strikeforce. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the man. I can hang with these guys. And they put me with AJ. It was the first person they had me spar with out there. And I'm like looking at this guy. I'm like, is this what the 70-pounders look like? I'm like, I know he's at 85.
In the UFC.
And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, all right, but maybe he's, maybe I'm a little faster than him. Maybe he's a little sluggish or something. So I get in, I start moving around with him, and all of a sudden he just jumps in and teep kicks me in the chest and knocks me back 10 feet. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, he's fast and powerful. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll wear him down a little bit. And he didn't go crazy trying to beat me up, but it was like he was bigger, faster, and stronger than me. And I'm like, this guy fights at my weight class. I'm like, it was a little discouraging. But then I went against the rest of the guys, there that were at my weight. I'm like, okay, I do hang it with these guys. He was just a complete freak, and yeah, it was almost like a trick they played on me over there. But I passed the test, and now I belong.
The main event of 202, Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor. Nate Diaz won the last fight via knockout, TKO, rear naked. We knocked him down. Then he started punching him. Then he decided, let me choke this fool out.
You know what? It's a hard fight to say.
The first time.
let me just say that I don't want McGregor to lose, only because I don't want him to go away. You know, I feel like if he loses, he's going to lose a lot of his, the it factor that he brings to the table. And I kind of enjoy it. At first I was like, oh, this guy's got to lose. But I like watching him. He's an exciting guy. He puts his money where his mouth is. I think he's extremely talented. He brings a lot to the table. But I do think that Nate's going to win. I think that Nate has more experience. He knows the endurance. I don't think Conor really has been tested. He had all of his fights were short notice fights, or not that he got a lucky knockout, but he knocked out Jose Aldo, which I thought would have been his real test. But he hasn't really been tested, and Nate put him to the test in the second or third round, and he broke.
So the first time they fought, I was like, for once in my life, I'm gonna put my money on McGregor, because I think, he uses his front kicks. He kicks a lot.
Yeah,
Nate doesn't check any of those. Yeah. Nate's going to want to stand up with him. That's what McGregor is good. I was like, McGregor. That's what this is. It's going to be a stand-up fight. McGregor's going to win. And then I was wrong. But I was wrong, and Nate didn't have a camp.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. I think that he trains just like...
I'm pretty sure when he got the call to fight McGregor, he was, like, drunk in Cabo.
Yeah, but so what? He's probably drunk in Cabo last week, too. But he's always training. Right. He's always training. Him and his brother, these guys have been in the game since I've been in... Even before me, I started training in 2003. These guys were already in the UFC then. These guys know how to fight. They know what it takes to fight. They stay in shape. They run triathlons. They do everything that you need to do. So what if he's out getting drunk in Cabo? He's still going to show up and work the next day.
Right. Backup note: in 2003, I was in 10th grade.
Yeah.
Well, I got Diaz. I think the verbal assault and the mental game that McGregor plays no effect on Diaz. I think he kind of likes it. Gets him it gives him a reason to be a thug and to get pumped up to fight someone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I personally do not fight well. If I'm I don't know, if there's anger, I don't know. I just want to go out there and just do when I fight against me and you spar or we you grapple. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
I'm a little different. I actually enjoy hurting Menace.
It's fucked up. It's real life.
I still like him. I just enjoy hurting him.
So we got two Diaz's. What do you guys think? What are your guys' thoughts for the fights of UFC 202? So that wraps up this episode of Styles Make Fights with yours truly, the Menace Dennis Bermudez, and the Ryan LaFleur.
Crying Ryan.
Crying Ryan. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. Who is going to win at UFC 202?
In 20 seconds, how many nicknames could you come up with for Ryan?
Alright. The Ryan LaFleur. Ryan the LaFleur. Ryan the Lion LaFleur. Ryan Lion LaFleur.
Lion Ryan.
Reliant Lion. Reliant LaFleur. Rydog. Rydog.
Ryan the Gummy Bear LaFleur.
The Flair. La means the in French.
The Gummy Bear LaFleur. Slick.
Slick.
Slick Ric Flair.
Yep. Slick.
Slick Rick the Ruler. LaFleur.
Slick. Then there is the Flair. The Flair. That's what it means.
The Nature Boy.
The Nature Boy. Yeah. And I think that's it. That's a lot. It's good.
I like it.